Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are jumping straight into the anatomy of a brilliant, highly suspenseful script, a Hindi short called The Secret of the Old Clock, or Purani Gadi Ka Rahasya. We're going to break down exactly how this story builds its narrative, scene by scene, to keep you totally hooked. So picture this. It is the dead of night. You are in a desolate, completely quiet village. It's pouring rain, lightning is flashing across the sky, and out in the distance is this crumbling, abandoned house. Then, cutting right through the darkness, a single window in that empty house suddenly lights up. You mix that visual with the howling wind and the faint, eerie ticking of a clock, and you have got an absolute killer hook. Nobody has lived there for 2 decades, yet every single night, right at the stroke of midnight, this mysterious light just turns on.
And that striking image brings us to the ultimate burning question that kicks off our entire mystery. We meet our main character, a 15-year-old kid named Arif. He is standing at his own window, staring at this creepy house, completely baffled. And he asks the exact thing any of us would. If absolutely no one lives in that house, who on earth is lighting that lamp? This isn't just a passing thought for him. It becomes an absolute obsession. Right then and there, staring at that glowing window, he decides he's going to uncover the truth behind this mystery, no matter what it takes. It's the perfect inciting incident to get this whole narrative moving.
Okay, let's dive into this lore to see exactly what Arif is dealing with here. The script lays out a really tight chronological history to crank up the stakes right from the start. So, 20 years ago, the house was totally abandoned. No owners, no caretakers, just left completely to rot. But every midnight, like clockwork, that mysterious light flickers on. And currently, in the present day, the only real sign of life inside that house is the eerie, non-stop ticking of a clock. Laying it out like this builds a massive foundation of dread. We totally get why the whole village is terrified of the place and why Arif is just so drawn to it.
So, the next morning, Arif tries to do some digging. He goes up to a village elder, hoping to get some answers. But instead of an explanation, he gets this super chilling warning. The elder just looks at him and says, "The less you know about that house, the better." And when Arif tries to push for a reason, the guy just goes completely silent. You can physically see the anxiety wash over his face. Honestly, from a storytelling perspective, this is such a smart move. Because telling a teenager not to do something, that backfires completely. It literally just fuels Arif's determination to figure out what these older folks are trying so desperately to hide.
Which brings us right to the break-in. It's evening, and Arif drags his hesitant buddy Kabir along to the house. The tension here is palpable. Kabir is absolutely terrified. He's begging to just turn back, but Arif ignores the elder's warning. The script outlines their entry in 3 super tense steps. First, they are just standing there, frozen in front of this menacing closed wooden door. Second, Arif reaches out and gives it just the lightest little push. And third, because you gotta love a classic suspense trope, the door slowly swings open all by itself with this massive long creak. They have officially crossed the threshold, and there is no going back now.
Inside, the place is just frozen in time. It's a dusty, forgotten room with fading photos lining the walls. As they creep up the stairs, the dead silence is suddenly shattered by a sound. Tick, tick, tick. Right in the middle of the room sits this massive, imposing antique clock. But here is the bizarre detail. The hands of the clock aren't moving at all. They are completely stuck at exactly 12:07. It is such a brilliant visual anchor for the audience. The sound of ticking is everywhere, but time itself is literally standing still.
Now, what's really interesting about this next part is how the mystery completely shifts gears. Arif bends down and picks up this old, yellowed piece of paper shoved right under the clock. Written on it is a super cryptic message. "The day this clock runs again, my truth will come out." Kabir's just standing there like, wait, whose truth? And right there, the story pivots. We aren't dealing with a generic ghost story anymore. We're dealing with a grounded, hidden past. Somebody actually left this here on purpose, just waiting to be found.
And then, the tension just skyrockets. Literally, the second Kabir asks that question, the frozen needle of the clock violently jerks forward with a massive, loud tick. The sound is so sharp, it makes both boys jump backward in sheer terror. But surprise, it's not a ghost. That sudden jerk of the clock hand actually triggers a hidden mechanism. Right behind the clock, a secret section of the wall seamlessly slides wide open. It is a perfectly engineered scare designed to keep us totally glued to the story.
Cautiously, they step inside this newly revealed hidden room. It's super cramped, really dark, and there's basically only one thing inside, an old wooden chest. And right on the front of it is a direct, deeply personal message that just says, "For the people of my village." Arif slowly opens the lid, and spoiler alert, it's not cursed treasure or anything. It's a stash of old documents, vintage photographs, and handwritten letters. They have literally found a time capsule of village secrets. And here is where we get the massive plot twist that flips the whole script on its head. As Arif reads these documents, the village's darkest secret finally comes to light. For decades, the villager belief was that a man named Raghuveer Singh was a complete villain who stole the village's land. But the actual truth, proven by the papers sitting right in front of them, greedy individuals inside the village were the ones who actually tried to steal the land, and Raghuveer was completely, 100% innocent. He was framed. Kabir is just stunned. It hits them that for 20 years, the entire village has been demonizing the wrong guy.
But wait, before they can even process this crazy revelation, bang! A massive crash echoes from downstairs. The front door has been kicked open. A stranger has just walked into the house, and a rough voice yells out into the dark, "Who is upstairs?" The boys absolutely freeze. It is such a great narrative rug pull. Just when they finally get their hands on the truth, their actual physical safety is instantly on the line. So now it's a heart-pounding game of hide-and-seek for survival. Step 1, Arif frantically scrambles to grab all those vital documents out of the chest. Step 2, both boys basically throw themselves into the darkest corner of that hidden room, holding the papers as tightly as they can. Step 3, they wait in pure, agonizing silence. You can almost hear the heavy footsteps coming up, pausing right outside their room, and then, mercifully, fading away as the intruder finally leaves. They have the truth in their hands, and they actually survived the night.
The next morning, the whole vibe flips from this dark suspense to a bright, undeniable revelation. Arif doesn't waste any time. He marches straight into the village square. He isn't just spreading rumors, he walks right up to the village chief and slaps those historical papers down in front of everybody. The elders thoroughly examine the old records. And right there, in broad daylight, the entire village collectively realizes the massive deception they've been living. The undeniable proof is staring them right in the face. Raghuveer Singh was a good man all along. And this brings us to the real emotional climax of the story. That very same village elder, the one who tried to warn Arif away the day before, he steps up in front of the crowd. He hangs his head, looking totally ashamed, and says, "We judged without knowing the truth. We made a huge mistake." You can practically hear the emotional cinematic music swelling in the background here. It's the moment the village finally faces its own guilt. They realize their quick assumptions and their willingness to just blindly believe hearsay totally destroyed an innocent man's legacy.
So we jump forward a little bit for a really heartwarming close. The village actually bands together to clean up the old house. It's no longer this creepy symbol of fear. Arif walks up those stairs, alone this time, back into that room. And that massive antique clock? It's no longer stuck at 12:07. It is happily ticking away, keeping perfect time. Right beneath it, Arif finds one last note left behind that simply says, "Truth can be hidden, but not buried forever." Arif just smiles. He knows he finally restored honor to a wrong man.
Which brings us to the final massive takeaway from today's explainer. The story closes out on this beautiful sunrise over a now happy village, leaving us with this powerful thought: never judge someone based on hearsay. The clock of truth might run late, but when it ticks, it changes everything. It is a brilliant reminder about the real danger of assumptions and the enduring power of facts. So, before you go, I want to ask you, what hearsay might you be blindly accepting as truth in your own life? Really think about that. Thank you so much for hanging out with me for this explainer. If you love this deep dive, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I will catch you in the next one.